In the last video, we created the model of our ball. So in this one, we're going to go into and take a look at a process called UVing. So what I did is in Google rather, I did a quick look, just said game model unwrap. And what you'll see right off the bat is each one of these models has sort of a weird 2D version of this 3D model. And within that 2D version, it's kind of a good example. You can see, let's see if we get in here, take a look at this, zoom in a little bit. You can see that it's like a flattened version that's painted on of this character. So after you've modeled the character, you want to paint it or texture it. And one of the ways that it's helps with the process of making it easier is to create this 2D version of what these polygon faces look like, and then take it into a program like Painter, Substance Painter, or Photoshop to paint on top of this 2D version, and then we apply it to the model. So what we're going to do is create the 2D flat version and then apply a texture to it. And this is going to sort of help us to further understand the next step in the process. So back here in Maya, what I'm going to do is make sure I'm in Maya Classic. Go up to UV at the top, go to UV Editor. And what we're going to do is just create again, a 2D flat version of our sphere. So to make it a little bit easier on us, I'm going to right click, go to UV mode, and highlight all the UVs of this object, or double click it. Yours might look a little different. It might look like a T. It depends on how your Maya is set up. And I'm going to hit the delete key inside this view. Let's try that again. Delete. There we go. And it got rid of all of my UVs. So it gave me a fresh canvas to unwrap from. So let's start off by going to face mode and just highlighting all of those top faces. Now, what you'll see is um, I'm selecting faces based on a plane change. So what does that mean? Notice that these faces here, it's sort of, you can tell by the circle shape that looks like this. I'm selecting all of the elements within that circle shape and I'm holding shift to select those faces. That represents one plane. The top part represents another plane. So anytime that there's a plane change, I'm going to select those faces, and that represents a section of where I want to flatten. So with these side faces selected, so like one way I did is drew a big marquee here, and then moved over and held shift to select all the faces that I wanted. Now, if I notice that I purposely selected this bottom one because I want to show you if you hold control, you can deselect it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is go to create, and then down here it has a planar, and I'm just going to move that off to the side. And if I turn this on, you can see it's still a little bit contorted, like all of these cubes are not the same size. So the next phase is just to hit this unfold button, and it'll flatten it out. I'm just going to rotate that by hitting E, move that over to the side. Let's do the same on the top. Select all those faces, holding shift to select these ones that are missing. Create planar, unfold, which is located under this unfold here. Just going to move it above here. Same thing in the front. And create, unfold. And just be conscious of where that front of your model is. And then make sure to put, so this is our top, I put it on the top, this is my right, this is my left. I'm just gonna move this off to the side here. Just sort of making space for, just going between E and W here. Same thing here. Holding shift, selecting these guys. And these are my front face. Let's do the same on the bottom. And then we're gonna have one more, we're gonna place it below the bottom, and that's the back. And it looks like I can see here I selected a face down here, so I'm going to hold control. So I'm also conscious of what's going on in here. Create planar and then unfold. All right, so now I want to figure out how do I stitch all of these different pieces together so it's looks like one clean thing. So I start off by right-clicking, going to edge mode, and selecting this top edge here. So let's turn this off for a second. And what you'll notice is this side here at the bottom doesn't line up with this one. And I know this one is my front face. And here's the top, this top edge. So I'm going to go to UV mode. It's going to rotate this guy. And then same thing, select that edge. Notice this one has, it needs to be rotated this way. I'm just going to move it down here. And then I can just select one of these edges, go up here to cut to UVs, and just do move and sew. All right, let's take a look at this. This is I want to put this bottom face at the bottom of my front here. You can see that this one needs to be moved down. Select that edge. Then do my move and sew. All right. And then let's get to the other guys in there. Just selecting this side here of my front. You can see they line up. I can just do move and sew. Do the next one. Now I have to rotate this one. So let's go ahead and double click that UV, rotate it. Modify and move and sew. Oops, sorry. Cut UVs, move and sew. And then let's double click it and then go to unfold. All right, so I want to go ahead and move this. Notice here's our grid line. I want to move it all the way up here so that's in our 0 to 1. Let's turn the grid off for a second, just take a look. Another thing I like to do is, and I'll show you this, is go to UV sets, or I'm sorry, go to view and go to grid. And I like to adjust my grid lines whenever I'm unfolding. So I change length and width to 1 and I hit apply. You can see that gives us a much better place to look. And then these grid lines every 1 unit, I want to just get rid of those grid lines altogether. And you see this gives me a cleaner view of where I'm unwrapping. And I want to make sure I'm from this 0 here, so 1. All right. So we have a nice unwrap. The next thing we want to do is assign a material. So I'm going to right click, assign a new material, Lambert. I'm going to change this to um, Bali Shore underscore MTRL. And for whatever reason, if it clicked off and you didn't get it, you can right click and go to material attributes and it'll bring it up again. That's the material that's attached to it. You can go to color and then select checker. And then if you don't see it, we're going to go ahead and hit 6 and you can see that now we have a beautiful checker material on our model. And we can also adjust it by going to UV editor, UVs, and scale it up or down just to see how it looks. But for now, we want to keep it in this 0 to 1 range. All right, in the next video, we'll take a look at rigging.